Hey, let's get started here. We're going to talk about some of the latest and greatest of ADAS equipment. So we're going to show off the Ultimate ADAS, which is a full Hawkeye Elite aligner, as well as an ADAS calibration target placement machine. It works with the scan tool, completely integrated with our Bosch built Hunter scan tool. But it is also able to work with any scan tool. It is kind of scan tool agnostic. It will work with any tool. This is the factory tool for Honda, Acura, Nissan, Infiniti, and soon to be several other OEMs. So this is what the dealers are using to follow the OEM procedures. One of the things you'll see as we go through this process, which has been kind of normal for the ADAS world, is a lot of strings and plumb bobs and crawling around on the floor. I'm going to do this without crawling around on the floor, without bringing out a string, a plumb bob, or a tape measure. So let's get started right now. We're going to do probably one of the most common, but one of the more complex calibrations, where we're doing the rear radar unit on the back of the car. So that rear radar unit has to have an image of where the center line of the car is, and then an offset to a certain angle. What we've done with this car, with the Hawkeye Elite targets, is we've actually mapped exactly where those targets are on the wheel and where the vehicle is in space. So is it on a surface mounted rack, or is it on the floor? And then how level is that floor? So the tool has some great enhancements to be able to adjust for that anomalies in the floor, such as the tool I'm going to use for doing this radar, which most of you will be familiar with, the trihedral cone that actually measures or allows the radar to reflect into it. This tool not only has some height adjustments so that I can match the height of the vehicle, I also have a ball and socket at the bottom that allows me to adjust that no matter what my floor condition is. There's a floor drain in my way or anything, I'm always going to be perfectly perpendicular and exactly where Toyota says they want to have this fixture. So on my screen right now, it's telling me to go get my scan tool and connect it to the car, which we've done. I'm going to hit OK. The screen's going to be working on the other side, and I don't really have to reference it all too much. As you get to know these, it will walk you through it. One thing that is on that screen on the lower right-hand corner is the plane of where the car is. So it at all points needs to see that, and as long as this car doesn't move in space, it ends up, I can move the fixture, I can move all the equipment anywhere where I need to. One of the things that makes this unit unique from a regular Hawkeye Elite aligner is right up underneath the cameras are two gimbals, one on either side, that have a green line and a red dot laser that actually do all of our measurements. They measure our floor heights, they'll measure where we're putting fixtures, as well as give us reference lines for the technician to use. So when I hit K4 here, it's going to jump all the way up. It's going to give me my first reference, and it's going to show me a green line here. Grab that floor again. So now I have some green lines. It's actually zipping right across me here, showing us the space that is required based on what Toyota says it needs to have for space. So an interesting thing with this, we had Honda going through some testing, and they looked at that laser, came shooting out on the floor, and they said, wow, why is that so big? Well, we looked at it and said, well, that's what you have in your procedure. And the engineer said, well, we don't use that much space. Well, but that's what you have in your procedure. So that's what we're referencing here. So on the screen, it's going to ask me to go get my target, get me this fixture, and this is a target. And depending on the manufacturer, it might change which one I'm going to use. But everything that's not attached to that machine has a QR code on it. And if you notice on the screen, in the lower right-hand corner is usually our button to move forward. There is nothing there. I cannot move forward unless I scan the QR code on the top of that, and it automatically moves forward. What I'm doing in every step in this process, I'm documenting exactly what we're doing, both with targets and placement. So I'm going to hit next here and hopefully get out of the way. And we're going to see a little dot up here. Over here on the floor, if you notice, there's a little red dot and a green line. So in one fell swoop, we've actually measured the floor. We know where the car is in space. That green line, red dot, is allowing us a reference. So on the bottom of our tool, we actually have a line and a circle there. We're going to actually place that right on it and line that up so that we're at the exact angle that Toyota says we should be for this vehicle. There we go. and I'm going to hit K4 for it. I'm now going to have a red dot that's going to show up here on my little crosshairs. So I'm just going to adjust that so that I'm pointing straight at my laser, and I'm going to put that right in my crosshairs. I got a little lock here on the top to be able to lock it in, and I'm going to hit K4 here again. Now my light just kind of flashed a little bit. It actually slid down, and it's going to ask me to make a fine adjustment to make sure it's quite precise, which means I've got to move a little bit forward, and I'm just going to move until that light stops flashing. So I'm going to hit K4 here, and this is going to flash real quick and measure. If I did it right, it measures it and documents it. If I didn't do it right, it asked me to do it again. In this case, I did it right, and it's going to ask me to adjust my height now down to this red band and put my red dot laser right into that. And I'm going to hit K4, and now it's going to ask me to go to my scan tool and be able to trigger this vehicle to be able to do the ADAS calibration for this particular radar unit. So as I'm all done with this one, my next screen that's going to come up is it's going to ask it to send 100 I can say no to this all I want. Doesn't really matter. It's always the only way for me to get past this is to say yes. So for service writers that are in the room, we don't have to worry about getting fingerprinted reports from the alignment machine anymore and run out of ink in the cartridge. It's all going 100 so a service writer can very easily print out those reports, or if you're using a tablet program, take that PDF and load it right into your tablet program. So I'm going to say okay, and we're going to automatically jump right into our next calibration. So in this case, we're going to be doing a forward-facing camera, which is going to use our machine and our targets here on the front of the machine. So it's going to go into its home position. It's going to give me those green lines again. So we notice the space is a little different. I've got a red dot on that line. So if I come across and kind of simulate that there is a line this way, and I got a red dot here going across there, that this is the space I'm working in. So for a repair shop where you're doing a front camera and that sort of thing, you don't need a lot of space. Maybe the space you already have in your shop is good enough for it. So we're going to hit K4 there, and the system's going to automatically adjust its height. The nice thing with this is it's going to automatically adjust as it needs to, but it also has a manual button, so I can raise and lower it as necessary. And my lasers are going to pop into life here and are going to give me some markings on the floor. As soon as it grabs that floor and it knows where the car is in space, it's going to drop me and give me 2 lines here on the floor dots. This first one is just telling me, hey, that's where we're going to work. Make sure that there's no hoses, there's no garbage cans, anything in our way. Obviously, we wouldn't rate that close to the car. I'm going to hit that button again, and you're going to notice them flash real fast. That's now taking a measurement and identifying, all right, we know where the car is. Now, where are we going to set for our height? Because we know where that camera should be from Toyota, from the center of the wheels to the camera. So the other nice thing for me, I'm not very tall. The guy that works on this project, he's a little shorter than I am. To make it easier, because the system knows that this is going to be right in front of the car, it knows we've got to set up the target early, and it knows that most of us are not 7 feet tall, so it's going to adjust it right down to a nice low level for us. And it's going to ask me to grab a panel, and I'm going to grab these panels. These are kind of cool. So where I had the QR code on the other scan tool, this is actually an optical reader with this wire on the back of it. So it's able to read what targets are placed on it. So I'm going to drop this on the front like it's saying here. I'm going to drop it on the machine. I'm going to hit K4 here. We're going to move to the next spot. And it's going to ask me here on the machine, it's going to tell me that I need target number 35. From the other side, it's probably a little hard to read, but there's a little red X, and if you notice that button is gray. I can't move forward until I put target number 35 on there. Here. So I'm going to grab my target out of the storage. I got target number 35. They're pretty cool little targets. They're actually a magnetic sheet all rolled up, so they stay nice and clean. They're compact for storage. On both ends, it tells us what number that is. And this is that optical sensor that reader is going to read, so that it can make sure that it knows what target it is. So as I place this on here, you'll notice that red X will turn to a green check mark, and the next box will appear and allow me to move forward. I'm just going to pull my little rip cords here and drop out my target. So I'm going to hit K4. It's now going to ask me to place my machine. So it's going to give me these two targets again. My lasers are now mounted to the machine, but I'm going to adjust my machine to those targets. So I'm going to slide it forward, and I can go as fast or as slow as I want to. It'd be nice if this floor wasn't tapered to the wrong side. So I got these little white ovals here, and I'm just going to adjust that until those lasers go in those little white ovals. And the gray handles that I'm pulling on here are actually my brakes. So every time I release it, I'm putting a brake down so that it can't move anymore. We're going to give it a second to grab its floor. And now we're going to move on to our next stage. So our next stage is it's going to automatically set at the height. So we measured the floor. We know where the car is in space. It's automatically adjusting it to the height that the vehicle needs to be. So right now I am set exactly where that camera needs that target to be, height-wise and distance, and I'm square and center to the car. The other nice part of it is I've now documented every single part of that. So on my reports, it's not just going to say that it was set in the right place. It's going to say exactly to that spec where I've set it. Now our question is side to side. So we're going to adjust this side to side to get it centered in the target centered in the car. So the screen might be kind of hard to see. There's actually a little notch in the bottom of it that is a 1 millimeter notch. So it looks very much like our toe bars. It has a little notch in the middle of it. That is 1 millimeter total. So a ½ millimeter in either direction. So as I'm moving it very little to get it exactly where it needs to be. And again, I'm now documenting it. So as soon as I grab my floor here, this is now going to orientate. So this system, when I roll comp this car, so just like our aligner, if I had, let's say the left rear corner was in a drain and the car was maybe a little bit off kilter, up to a 4-degree variance, I'm going to be able to adjust for that because this entire unit is set on a center post with 3 actuators, 2 on the side and 1 on the bottom, that it can oscillate around completely. So it will guarantee to be square and center to the car exactly where that target needs to be. And now it's going to ask me to go get my scan tool to trigger that camera. So I know with certainty, based on the OEM specs, that I'm actually placing that target exactly where it needs to be. And I don't have to do anything. I don't have to take pictures or anything like that. I'm documenting everything that's happening. So the other one that is a real challenge with these is surround views and backup cameras and that sort of thing. What the next one that we're going to do is a rear camera. So on this car, we've got a rear camera. You know, we get the cool little ladder bars that show up to show where it's going. So this has a calibration procedure for that. That if I were using the Toyota procedure outside of this procedure, it would be tape on the floor. We're going to do it a little bit different, a little bit easier. So I'm going to just scooch this back because we're going to be way too close with it too high. So the other nice thing is I just about run over my cord. Rather than getting it in my way, I can just unplug this. I got about 45 minutes to run this where the way it's sitting. I got about 10 or 15 minutes if I'm doing a calibration and it's running up and down. So either way, it's going to beep incessantly to tell me that it's not plugged in when it is not plugged in. So we're going to grab our floor again. And in this case, anytime we're doing a surround view, it's going to measure the floor in multiple places. So in this one, it actually makes it 2. If we were doing the surround view all the way around this car, it would actually make 12 measurements as it goes through that process. So we don't have to do anything. The machine is just going to do that and go through that process. So on the screen, it's telling us that we've got our target 312. So I'm going to grab my target 312, which is in there for the Toyota program. And it's showing that there's a circle and an equal sign. I got the circle on one side, equal sign on the other side. And if you notice, I got a QR code on here. That's what's going to tell the machine that I'm using the right target. So I'm just going to take this out. If you notice on the floor here, I have 2 dots that are telling me where to place my target. So there's one right here, and there's one on the other side. I'm just going to take my target and roll it out nice and easy. And the nice thing with this, these are pretty heavy vinyl targets. So I can drive it from one side, fold it over so it doesn't roll back on me. And I'm just gonna come down here. This is about the closest I'm gonna get to the floor. And I'm gonna put that circle in there. And this one here in the equal sign. And I'm gonna scan it. And now my machine's gonna tell me to go to my infotainment center to do the calibration procedure. So the calibration procedure for this is you'll have a box with where that line is supposed to be, and you'll be making vertical and horizontal adjustments to be able to line that up. So that's a quick overview of the main functionality of the machine. All of this, as I hit to finish this, it's going to again send it to HunterNet, and we are going to have a document that is going to provide us a pre-scan, a post-scan of that calibration procedure of this whole process. If we've done an alignment, it will do the alignment readings all within it. It'll do our steering angle sensors, and it will show every one of our calibrations, target placement, as well as the computer responses from the vehicle, all on one nice clean report that, again, we don't have to print out. The machine does come with a printer, but we don't have to print it out. We can just take that PDF and upload it right into our systems, or print it out with the color printer up front. That's probably a little bit more efficient than an inkjet printer on the machine. And no technician fingerprints all over printouts. They're all nice and neat and clean. I have one customer that has this, and he always wants to make sure that it has what he calls the beautiful report, because it is really a nice report showing reference images of what it is and the exact location of every one of these targets based on where it is from the center line of the vehicle and each axle. So,
thank you guys for hanging out. Yeah. Yeah. And if you come up with any questions, we're glad to help.
All right, sounds good.
Okay.
yeah.
Oh.
Thank you.